Hey, so real talk. I want to be an artist. I think I've been embarrassed to call myself an artist for a lot of different reasons. I feel like the main two core lies that I've believed is that I'm not an artist unless I work at some big fancy animation studio, and that's the only way that I'll be taken seriously. Or that I can only call myself an artist once I reach a certain skill level. Both of these are false. I know that now, but it's something that I've been really grappling with for the past couple years. So for context, I didn't go to an art school. I'm predominantly self-taught, but I have about 5 years of working experience in the animation industry and production. I was honestly ashamed to admit that I even wanted to be a story artist or to work in some sort of creative role. And to be fair, I was pretty good at my job. So I'm not mad at that. But at the core of it, it's I love story. I'm working on my own personal projects. I have a short film I'm making. I'm working on a graphic novel. I am learning motion design just because I want to. I am storyboarding for my friends' short films. And I'm just realizing how fun being a creative can be. But when you're in that space, it can be really, really tough. I'm not the kind of person who usually compares themselves to other artists. In fact, when I look at other people's work, I am that person that genuinely gets inspired because I'm like, man, how can I level up? What can I learn from this person so that my own art can improve? I'm not the kind of person that's like, ooh, woo, woo, what was me? I suck. I've never been that kind of person. And working in the industry for the past 5 years, I realized I really haven't had the time or the space to work on my own creative projects. I'm pretty good with my time. There's people that are like, oh, you have to be super disciplined and you have to get up at 4 a.m. to work on stuff. And I'm like, no, no, no. I am a whole person. I value my health. I value taking care of myself. I also value having a life and having relationships with people. I realized that I care more about the people in my life than I do about attaining a certain status or whatever. Throughout the past 5 years, I have felt behind. If I'm being so for real, I felt really behind. I came into art later in life. It wasn't like it was something that I grew up doing. So I was already feeling behind from not going to art school, not drawing from when I was a child. I started in adulthood. And I just felt super behind because people my age or older, my peers, they're putting out all of this amazing stuff. I just couldn't help but think, who am I to say that I want to be an artist when I see practically what it takes to be one? I came to the conclusion that I would never be able to attain the level of skill it took to be an artist. But I am a human at the end of the day, and it is really discouraging. Um, yeah, just to be comparing yourself in a race that honestly I shouldn't have been comparing myself in the first place. We weren't at the same starting line. There really was no reason for me to ever compare, but I'm a human, and that's what I was doing. Then this past year happened. So, fast forward, in 2025 and 2026, I have learned so much about myself from a wide array of different experiences. I've done a lot of traveling, I've done a lot of soul searching, I've been processing a lot of emotions and like a lot of personal development. But one of the things that changed was my relationship to my creativity. For the past year, I didn't have any sort of time whatsoever to do anything creative, even though I was trying. I was disciplined. I made the schedules. I was waking up at 5:30 a.m. to make sure I got my workouts in. I was trying to keep up my relationships with my friends and my family. I was doing quote unquote all of the right things. So that wasn't the issue. For a long time, I felt really stuck. And then I don't know how I got to this conclusion, which sounds really obvious saying it out loud, but I came to the conclusion that in order for me to be an artist, I don't have to be at an animation studio. I'm honestly not sure who I've let essentially brainwash me into thinking that my worth only came from being an artist at a big animation studio, but that doesn't have to be the case for me. It's like for the first time, I finally could have a separate relationship with my art outside of work. It honestly felt like I couldn't even take myself seriously because other people wouldn't take me seriously. And I'm not one of those people that's like, okay, I'm gonna go put out bad art. Like, I'm still gonna continue to learn and continue to improve my craft. Like, I want to be good. But it's just like, I don't have to set this crazy, unrealistic expectation for myself to meet the standard of people who have been working in an industry for like 20, 30 years and then being upset that I don't compare to them when I literally just started learning how to draw like from scratch a couple years ago. It's a crazy standard. And it kind of really warped my how I thought of myself as an artist. And again, I don't know how I came to the conclusion that broke me out of it, but I'm really glad it did. I can freely build and create whatever I want, and that is so exciting. You know, this is the first time that I'm actually admitting that I want to be an artist, and it is scary. It's scary because it's so vulnerable. It's something that I've never actually admitted out loud. I feel like I've always talked about like art and my creativity like kind of hush hush as if it's like a secret, and it doesn't have to be. I can openly admit that I want to be an artist. I want to be someone that adds beauty to this world, and I want people to be able to see that. I finally admitted to myself how much I loved art. I love it. I love it. I love storytelling. I love comics. I love animation. I love music. I love art in all forms, but it's like I love making something and creating it from nothing. Like, that's so cool. And it is all mine for the taking, and no one can stop me. And no one can stop you either. So I say all of this, and it may sound like I am giving up on being a professional artist. I'm not. I think I'm just redefining what being a professional artist even means to me. Hello, sun. Um, wow, the sun, she's coming out today. It actually feels good because it's kind of cold. I think what I've realized is that I have a deep love for story, and whatever form that takes, I think is what I will pursue. I just realized that I have a deep love for other things as well, like music videos and comics. And again, that doesn't mean that I'm going to drop everything and say that I'm going to go become a professional comic artist. It's more so just that, well, now I have other avenues to explore. Like, I've been side questing and exploring motion design. I know very little about it. But that's okay. I'm not scared of that. And it's something that I never actually considered because I was so like hyper focused on becoming a storyboard artist. I also realized that I don't have to be the most amazing draftsman in order to consider myself an artist. Now, I'm not saying that this means I'm gonna go out and be bad and like not learn. As I've stressed multiple times, that like I want to be good. I want to be at a level where I can be proud of the work that I put out, and that's gonna take work and time, and I'm ready to put in that work. But what that also doesn't mean is that I have to be this perfect draftsman that has perfect perspective 100% of the time, that has everything hyper accurate. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that. It really doesn't have to be that. Again, been putting so many crazy, unrealistic standards on myself, and honestly, you're probably doing that too. Hey, y'all. I don't have to be an expert in order for my art to have value. You don't have to be an expert in order for your art to have value. It's like, I've had people at work tell me that they only can see me as a production person, which, on one hand, cool. I know I'm good at my job. That's great. But on the other hand, it's like, oh, so you're literally missing out on different ideas and different perspectives from someone just because you've deemed that they're not like a creative, which wasn't true. But that's also kind of the point of this, is that I am no longer seeking permission for people to consider myself an artist. Like, I am an artist because I say that I'm an artist and because I'm making things. I shouldn't have to wait for permission for other people to deem me worthy enough to be an artist in order to consider myself an artist. And I know a lot of people might be able to relate to that, or maybe no one. I don't know. But I think I'm just done asking for permission. I am ready to just make my projects. I'm making my short. I'm making my graphic novel. I'm doing all of the things that I've essentially waited for permission to do, and I don't have to do that anymore. Um, so I am very excited. So, anyways, this was just a brain dump for today. I'm literally at some random park because I kind of just wanted to let out what my thoughts were. Let me know in the comments if you've experienced anything similar to this or if it's something that you're also struggling with. Really excited for all of the things that I'm going to do. And yeah, I'll see you later. Okay, bye.